I know I should be doing a shield run today, but after that Assassin's Dagger, I kind of want to jump right back into doing another tactics run. So today, it's going to be all about the quick bow. As its name would suggest, it is a bow with a fast fire rate, and on top of that, a pretty decent critical. As long as you can get 2 arrows in an enemy, you just need to hold down the button to get constant criticals until, well, you run out of ammo. That is going to be something of an issue that I'll have to end up dealing with in one way or another. And much like the Assassin's Dagger, the quick bow is actually a great starting weapon because you can get it fairly early on, as soon as you have the flask room unlocked after dying a couple times or managing to beat the game. Just gotta go jump right up here, roll into this little alcove, and then got the blueprint for all of your tactics runs needs. And I do think that even though this is a fairly early game weapon, it even synergizes well with one of the original mutations you have unlocked, the 2 times ammo one. It is probably going to be still very effective in late game. It might be a very basic type of bow, but the huge amount of criticals, the fast fire rate, I can see this easily being something that I can get a great run going with. And also, it is something that I don't really use too often. I do think that there's nothing wrong with the quick bow. It's a perfectly good weapon. It's just during the rare times that I actually tend to end up doing a tactics-based run, I usually favor weapons that don't have ammo management. I can't believe I killed an elite with the with the explosive decoy. That almost never happens. But anyway, I was saying, yeah, I usually favor like your working with stuff like the magic missile, pyrotechnics, alchemic carbine, you know, stuff where you don't have to worry about ammo management. Even though I do think that this is a good weapon. So I want to do something a little bit different, and really, I just wanted to get into tactics because one of the things I didn't mention last time that I did definitely notice when I was reviewing the video is that for all the hemming and hawing that I was doing about working with melee tactics, I was having a pretty good run going for the most part. After all, I think I got hit, what, maybe 5 times in total, at least up until the last couple biomes. I managed to get the 60 kill door almost every single time that one appeared, and I was not even trying to do that. In fact, I was more concerned about talking about the DLC and everything, and I was having a great run going until I met up with the last couple bosses and just completely screwed it up at the end. So I do think that there is really something to be said about doing some more... Well, that was a little bit unusual. Something to be said about doing some more tactics run. I can easily see myself maybe changing my mind on how I see this stat and how it works in the later cell difficulties. If I can just keep at it, keep practicing, get a little bit better at the late game. And what I'm going to do this time is try to go in a little bit more novel, different route, because one of the things that I did learn during a stream that I did recently is that tactics actually work surprisingly well against the giant. So I'm going to be heading straight into the sewers, seeing if I can't get a good run going against the conjunctivius and the giant over the course of this. I think really more than anything else, even more than beating the Hand of the King, if I can get a solid giant kill, I'm gonna be happy with how this went. I mean, all I gotta do is just focus on getting not only a nice buffed up bow, but a good shield to make sure that I can constantly get arrows back, or even maybe a decent, or maybe even a decent melee weapon and try getting Ripper to work, something that I can almost never get to function properly whenever I try to use that mutation. And then I'll hopefully have a decent go at the giant, something that is a rarity in 5-cell mode to say the least. I'm actually going to continue on with the explosive decoy. It's been shockingly effective so far. Well, anyway, I think that, yeah, it's just... The idea here is going to be, 1, networking, because I know that works really great in this particular circumstance, and not only that, if I am going up against the conjunctivius as well as the giant, getting a bunch of extra hits in on the individual tentacles is going to help a lot. 2 times damage mutation, just because I do think that Even if I am parrying a lot to try to release arrows from enemies. Now, you know what I said about the explosive decoy? I lied. Even if I am parrying a lot to get my arrows back, even if I do get Ripper working, still probably gonna be running out of arrows fairly quickly. I mean, I was already doing that against one of the, against a couple of the elites that I was fighting in the prep up for this episode, so it's something that's on my mind. Maybe I'm a little bit too concerned. I mean, after all, even with, even without the 2x ammo mutation, you'll get a lot of arrows when it comes to the quick bow. And enemies are going to be attacking me enough that I should be able to get a decent amount of parries off against anything that I'm going to be fighting, regardless of if it's Conjunctivius, Giant, Hand of the King, whatever you're looking at. And really, it's like, when an enemy becomes, you know, 90% arrows with the amount of ammo that I'm going to be pumping into them, I don't really think that they're going to be surviving that. Especially if I am working to get a very high, you know, glass cannon-y type of run going here. I mean, you know, there's some zombie fiction where even if but a single chunk is left of a single undead, it can continue to move around and attack you. But I don't really think that Dead Cells is quite of that style. I mean, no, it's a bunch of, I mean, really, it's undead, but it's also kind of more mutant-ish type of thing. I mean, if you're wondering, the actual lore for the game is that the Malays, it's... Oh, Hokuto's bow. Do I want to grab that? It'd be a little bit of extra damage, but I do think I'm probably going to want to keep the shield, like I said, for ammo management more than anything else. Also, I don't want the run to be overwritten by another Hokuto's bow type of run again. How many times does that happen, after all? But yes, the actual in-lore reason for why there's a bunch of weirdo undead monsters all over the place is not so much because it was just the Malays, but because it was magical attempts to cure the Malays also caused it to be mutate and create a bunch of these weirdo monsters around here too. In fact, I don't really think that there's still a canon explanation as to what the deal with the Malays is. I mean, it still could just be a perfectly normal, natural disease. I mean, okay, so in the lore rooms, there's a bunch of... almost got me. There's a bunch of explanations as to where the Malays may have actually come from, whether it's just the fact that everybody that seemed to live on the island was a huge slob, threw their trash everywhere. I mean, you saw in, like, the Stilt Village that every single one of the... I can't believe I got hit there. Every single one of the catches that they apparently get in the village are just thrown into barrels and exposed to the sea air at all points in time. People are not very sanitary around here, so it could just be a regular plague, and that's about it. That's the long and short of the origin of the Malays, and it was just the magical attempts to cure it that caused it to get way more... come on. Trying to get some good hits in there. The magical attempts to cure it that caused it to get a lot more supernatural over time. But there's also a bunch of other explanations on top of that. For example, there is magical sap apparently running through the slumbering sanctuary that could have leaked into the sewers. Also, speaking of being unsanitary, there is a huge sewer system throughout this entire place. Not the best, you know, for keeping everybody clean after all. But yeah, the sap leaked into the sewers, the rats carried the sap elsewhere, and it caused people to get really sick. There is the crystals being mined out of the cavern. They could be the culprit because they apparently have some sort of magical property, but are also coated in like a foul-smelling slime on top of all of that too. So that's a possibility. There's the moon apparently has a gigantic skull shape on it, and as you find out in the 5-cell area, it apparently in some way... get rid of this. It apparently in some way reacts with anybody infected with the Malays. A lot of attempts to try to create... Ooh, Do I? Nah. I'm going to keep the wave of denial. People were calling me out on not using that enough to anyway. So I'll roll with it for a little while here. Yeah, the moon reacts in some ways. There were a lot of like magical alchemical stuff that the alchemist was doing to create potentially, disease cures. Could have been involved creating a disease instead that became known as the malaise. What else? Apparently at some point in time in the Stilt Village, the water started turning murky and dark. Maybe as a result, a little bit more pelagic origin of the disease. There is the giant. And if you look at some of the lore rooms in the castle, the giant was apparently always a gigantic skeleton. So if there's a, undead disease that starts appearing around, I think that maybe looking to the man who is a gigantic undead monster, or seemingly has always been a gigantic undead monster, is likely. One of the loading tips for the castle says that apparently the royalty living in there got so decadent and Mask of the Red Death-ish that they started pursuing cannibalistic pursuits, and that is a way to get very much diseased. So there's a lot of possibilities as to where exactly the disease could have come from, and I guess I'm just doing a lore corner at this point. It's been a while, hasn't it? But nothing has been confirmed or denied as like the actual origin of the disease. All we know is that magical means made it way worse and started to get the very Left 4 Dead special zombies around here. Aside from that, they're mostly like mutant-ish type creatures, not like actual... Oh, wow, I can't believe I managed to not get hit by the tail swipe there. I didn't even notice that. I was just running away. I didn't even mean to like run away. I was just walking away from that. Anyway. Yeah, so if you're ever wondering on that point, I'd like to say that most of the big questions have been answered with the game's general lore, but that one is still kind of out there, kind of up for debate. Maybe we'll eventually see something with the Bad Seed DLC, a little bit more of a reasoning as to maybe the swamp. Swamp's well known for harboring disease and the like, which is why people in the past tended to get rid of them all the time before we realized what a terrible, terrible idea that was. Draining the swamp and all that. Yeah, let's go for the... I guess I'm probably going to be taking 2 cursed chests at this point. If this is a cursed chest. Again, with the new update, I cannot remember what is cursed and what is not at this point in time. Well, it's pretty close to getting the 60 kills, but nah, that ain't happening. And as much as I would like to get the Frantic Sword, I really do like the parry shield. I know I haven't been using it enough, but as soon as I get to a boss fight, like I said, that's going to be an important part of arrow management in every way. Oh, so another one of the things I was thinking of is that there is still kind of an issue with dealing with healing and malaise curing. Talked about this in a stream recently, but the ways that you normally cure, yourself, getting more health back, is like adrenaline, frenzy, which are not going to be very helpful at all, and also requires you to have a melee weapon in the first place, so even getting that as an off stat is not going to help. Networking, really, I think is probably going to be the one I want here. I was just talking up how good that is. Stuff like what doesn't kill me is not going to be... Well, it actually could be kind of useful even on this. 1.2% HP is great, but it has to be a melee attack you're parrying. It never works on projectiles, which makes it a little bit less useful. Acceptance, Alienation, a potent combo, but also takes up 2 slots, and curses are sort of hard to come by. It's also a super huge gamble if you're going to even be getting food, if you're hoping that acceptance will end up getting you cursed. Heart is nice, and disengagement is nice, but to rely on that for healing is ridiculous. Maybe get a tonic, maybe get vampirism, but I think I might end up just taking necromancy. I'm going to be killing so many enemies as it is, and the malaise cure is so good after every single boss that it might be worth taking even if I'm not actually building for survival. Curious. If I do this... No, it doesn't. There's no synergy with that. Also, but 2 times damage taken, I think I'm going to just stick with what I got right now. Just feels like I probably don't want to risk it. So yeah, I don't know. I might end up taking Necromancy. Something that after it got nerfed many a time, I was thinking not very useful if you're not using the... If you're not happening to use the survival build that it is, you know, technically most useful for. But I do think that it's just... I needed something. I just want something right now that'll give me a little bit of healing, that'll give me a little bit of malaise cure over time. And I don't really think that, like, acceptance or alienation... I mean, well, acceptance alienation combo is kind of the next best thing, and even that is... just... It relies so much on you even finding food, which can be something of a rare thing in finding that in the wild. So when it's a... Disengagement, I think, would be the other really good thing. Ah, I saw that. Disengagement would be the other really good mutation to take, because that really does... You know, if you're taking a huge amount of damage with each hit, that can save your bacon pretty well over time. I don't know. I'm still kind of thinking about... I like having defense. Like having a little bit more defense focused on the high cell difficulties, especially when it comes to something like tactics. Because, you know, getting combos together is usually not too difficult to do when you have the great weapons that tactics offers. It's just, I don't know. I would feel better. I would at least feel better. I would at least feel like I'm a bit more safe if I got... come on. That should do it. Nope, it did not do it. Okay, well, now I gotta be extra careful. Usually it's, you know, it's that whole healing thing, where usually it's not even a problem if you're going in with brutality or survival to heal up from this sort of huge hit. But here it actually is. Getting hit twice is very bad. Okay, that was honestly a little bit closer than it probably should have been. Good, good. Oh, Wave of the Nile. People were telling me I should just be spamming that thing like crazy when I have it. It makes the game so much easier. And I don't disagree, which is why I really thought that I should be taking it here. Well, that said, as it is, usually only get a single staff from this area and maybe a colorless weapon, which I kind of highlighted before is not the most important thing for a tactics run. A lot more important with other builds. But getting 2 stats here, I think that does actually make it this a lot more worthwhile than it would normally be. Especially if I do end up going for the giant, and if I win, I am going to be, in all likelihood, going directly to the Hand of the King, now that it is possible to do that. Yeah, okay, I didn't realize you could actually breach enemies with networking. That's good to know. I mean, of course, the other thing is that piercing will help out a lot, especially if you have very mobile enemies like bombers and the like, just because they are... I can't believe I got hit there. That is my bad entirely. Anyway, what was I saying here? Bombers and, you know, other very mobile enemies can be... Nice try. And done. Can be breached out of the sky and then just killed based on that alone. Also, oh, what a great get. Because I was a little bit worried there. I mean, if I do end up going into the graveyard, I'll get a food shop, but that's a little bit off from right now and not really something I should be relying on as it is. So again, that extra 50% heal is super good. You know, it's really the combo of having... Oh, I can actually go get an upgrade for my turret right now. Yeah, it's a combo of having a phaser and the Assassin's Dagger that I think makes it really, really convenient to go through to go through and kill enemies no problem at all. It has Phaser has such a low cooldown and also does so much extra damage that making sure that you can get through areas without getting hit at all is kind of trivial. I mean, it's better than I give it credit for, certainly. You know, didn't even really think about it all that much, but Instinct of the Master of the Arms. Instinct of the Master of Arms. I guess they changed it to be a little less article focused. Could also be good here. You do get a lot of criticals, but I think, you know, with all the preamble that I had talking about Necromancy, I guess I really got to take it, you know? See if I can't get some usage out of it. The stream that I was doing recently did get something out of it, but it was more the malaise cure than the healing. that was my bad. Got to be using, like I said, might not seem like I'm using the shield right now because I'm not. But as soon as I get into that boss fight, I'm going to be using that thing a ton. Okay. Wave denial going to be exceptionally helpful here, just to make sure that I'm not getting killed by worm bombs either. Oh boy, oh boy. You know, despite the fact that I was talking about how these zombies are not really of the supernatural kind, I mean, supernaturally buffed up, but they're supposed to mostly just be like mutant type of creatures. There are things like giant... Ooh, that was close. There are enemies that exist, like the slashers and the like, that are just skeletons, and I've definitely talked about that before, but I think that skeletons, as far as undead go, are kind of ridiculous. Ha! Can't teleport behind me. Got networking going on here. Maybe a better mutation than I was giving it credit for. So, I mean, maybe it is that this does have more of a supernatural origin than I was talking about. It's hard to say exactly how much the mutations did. It's just... That's always something ridiculous to me. You can kind of conceive of a... Good. You can kind of conceive of, like, a zombie existing, whether it's a person that is undead-ish, but can still function, at least for the most part. Or, you know, somebody that's just, what was it, George Romero's The Crazies, sort of a less shambling corpse and more just, well, I mean, I suppose it's right in the title there, isn't it? But something like a skeleton is so absolutely ridiculous when it comes to an undead. I just think that it's strange that people even would think of, you know, using it necromancer-wise or anything like that. Because what sort of tactical advantage could there possibly be to having something just be a skeleton? You would think that the whole fact that they're just bones, it's like, why don't you just enchant a sword to fly around and slash enemies on its own rather than having a skeleton? I guess the only answer would be that it is, well, you need to... I kind of like that, but nah. You would need to have... maybe it's like, you know, necromancy has to use bodies in some way, but why not just make a sword out of bones then? And then animate that to fly around and attack people? Because, to be honest, skeletons are just silly looking. They are silly characters, and I almost cannot take them seriously whenever I see them in, like, a movie or a game or something like that, because it's like, come on. Maybe that's just me. I mean, maybe it's just me. It's like, I've just become so numb to pop culture and the like that when I see a skeleton, I think, hey, look at how goofy that thing is, as opposed to, oh my god, it's spooky, scary, etc. Whatever. But still, I do think that I have a point where it's like, how would it be easier to get a human skeleton to be walking around than to just, you know, have magic weaponry? I don't know. Maybe that is also just me. It does make an evocative image, I suppose, but that's... Do you really care all that much about pomp and circumstance when you are a necromancer? And the answer is absolutely. What am I even thinking of? Look at the Undertaker. Well, I don't think it's technically a necromancer, but it's close enough. No, it's more about like the black robes and the black candles, the black magic, covering everything in like drapes and blood. Yeah, I guess it's more of a flair for the dramatic, isn't it? I guess if you think about it, it's like wizards. If you are the sort of person that wears a silly conical hat and or a gigantic robe to do your daily business, yes! Oh, so close. You probably are somebody that has a flair for the dramatic. So there you go. That's the answer. Skeletons look cool. Fine. Fair enough. Asked and answered my own dumb bit that I came up with on the spot. Anyway. Still, if skeletons just, you know, are animated by themselves, it's like, how would you even defeat such a thing? I mean, you couldn't. Just assemble themselves afterwards, because it's not like there's any sort of ligaments or bones already making the thing ambulate around as it is. It's like you might as well just make it so that it's a flying storm of like bone shards. Like, yeah, just have a skeleton explode into a bunch of bone shards and then attack adventurers in that way. I think you could justify that pretty easily. Also, this is convenient. Or maybe if the magic is so strong, just not even have them fly in the bone shards, have them split at an atomic level, and just create like a nuclear explosion. Because we're already playing Calvin Ball by having bones walk around as it is. That's all I'm saying. You know what? I do like Wave Denial, but I do also like the idea of getting you on my side. I mean, I would love to get some sort of poison right now, but as it is, I don't know. I mean, this is the sort of build that I'm talking about when it comes to using 2 turrets right now, or at least a little bit closer. And as long as I can, I don't know, because the big problem that I have when it comes to doing Conjunctivious fight is the idea that I'm going to be going up against I'm going to be having problems with the bullet hell type of attacks, which are, I mean, obviously, as much as I do like Mr. Owl here, it's not going to help me in that respect. Whereas the Wave Denial definitely would. Oh, would it be worth just keeping that? Can reflect all those bullets, but I don't know if I'm also able to, because my current turret is not really going to be hitting the Conjunctivious all that much. However, the Owl definitely will, provided that I don't get hit and lose it. Maybe it would be worth instead switching out the heavy turret for the Wave Denial. In fact, at this point in time, I do think that is what I'm going to do. Just thinking about the future here. Besides, it's already starting to lose a little bit of effectiveness over time here with the, you know, the damage is not as good as it possibly could be, whereas the whole reflecting projectiles ability of the Wave of Denial definitely going to remain effective just as a safety measure more than anything else. Doing that sort of thing. Yeah. I think this is going to be the better option. And if I possibly can, I would love to get 60 kills before I head down into the challenge rift. I mean, I am absolutely going to do that. In all likelihood, I'm going to end up using a potion charge before the end of this anyway. So I might as well get through that challenge rift, at least get the other stat that I possibly can, and then end up, oh man, oh boy, oh no. I survived that somehow. I'm mad I got hit there. Honestly, perturbed because I was so close. So close. And getting some really good items here is very important to my general survival, so losing out on the potentially like a 200% type of items that I did there is going to hurt me. Maybe. I mean, it could also be that it was just a bunch of junk in there too, but still. We'll never know now, I guess. Let's get into this rift. I think I managed to get one sewer key throughout that entire thing. Kind of surprised, to be honest. That said, 20 tactics by the end of this. 2 challenge rifts. Definitely helping me out a lot there. It's not super often that you're able to get to 20 tactics by the first boss anymore with how the stats are now distributed. So I'm pretty happy on that point, if nothing else. Of course, the real test is going to be how well do I fight the boss. And, well, we'll see. The Conjunctivius and the Giant both have that problem where they have one particular phase that's a little bit unpredictable and pretty difficult to dodge things in. But at least the Giant with the crystals, I'm specifically talking about the crystals and then the bullet hell phase in the Conjunctivius fight, do have something that you can do to kind of get the odds in your favor. Well, not even the odds, but to mitigate the damage. Mitigate is what I was trying to think of. And that is taking Masochism, the thing that reduces trap damage, because those crystals are counted as traps in the Giant fight. If I manage to get the 75% projectile damage reduction, that could maybe have helped out here. But at least like with Masochist, all you need to do is just re-roll your mutations to get that. Would like to see that sort of thing happen with the Conjunctivius if possibly could. Because it does make it kind of frustrating in these sort of builds where you really, really for real have to avoid getting hit as much as possible. Okay, get that parry. And there we go. Parry for... Not bad. Not bad. Obviously, like I was saying, networking is going to help out quite a bit here, as well as... Yep, great. Networking is going to help out quite a bit here, as well as the... just general range that I got going on, which has been quite good. Good. As long as I can not get hit... Oh, as long as I can not get hit here, I'll be okay. Well, whatever. I'll just stall out this phase a little bit so I can get my good owl buddy back up. Actually, I didn't really want to hit out the arrows just yet from the... Ah! You're not... You're supposed to... Okay, come on. Good. And one more. What? Huh. Good. And actually, not a bad Conjunctivius fight at all. Got hit once there, all in all. And I do think that it is probably a good idea to have ended up taking Necromancy, knowing how high I was getting on Malaise there. So, yeah, not too shabby at all. I mean, actually, I'm not disappointed at all at how that went. Networking is... And hope I'm not gonna be cursing myself by saying this. Probably gonna end up being an MVP in the upcoming fight as well. The upcoming fight against the Giant, because being able to hit his hand, his eyeball, both hands and the eyeball at the same time, especially given that at this point in time it's 50% of the damage dealt to one, And that's criticals, too. That's the critical damage being given to both of the targets at pretty much all points in time. Could turn out pretty good. I mean, I was told that this was a very effective way to go about doing a giant kill, and often usually hesitant about going towards this guy, just because going to this guy, just because it is so... Wait, I can duck. That just completely nullifies these guys when you duck. Come on, remember that. I've been told that it's very good, and I've been told that I should be doing that. And I would like to try to go for the giant a little bit more. Maybe for future... damn. Also, I don't even know where that cherry came from. Did a rune appear on top of, like, the breakable floor? I've never seen that before. Anyway. It's like getting that one runner stuck inside of a door a couple of runs ago. Learning new things every day. But anyway, I was saying, yeah, I want to fight the giant more, is basically what I'm saying. And maybe doing a little bit of range tactics. This will be the perfect opportunity to do so. There we are. Good upgrade, too. I mean, I'm still working with a mostly normal mode-ish, just minus a bunch of the weapons of this particular... Oh boy. Yep. Rally back if I possibly can. Okay. Not terrible, but not great either. Oh! You're still here. Interesting. Well, this is the time to be using a potion charge. This is the time to be using the potion charge. Ooh. That's worrying, but, you know. Good. It's still okay. It's still okay. Just get my owl back out here. Should be fine. Yeah, I'm still using a mostly normal mode-ish type of build, just minus a few of the ranged weapons so that I can re-roll it in shops easier. You know, get the best type of weapon that at least the run is supposed to be focused on that I possibly can. And then getting some good weapons past this point is just all luck. Just like go around hitting enemies everywhere here so that I can get networking to work. It was a very interesting mutation that I never really tried using too much. That and especially Predator when I eventually go get that thing unlocked. I'm still missing a couple of the mutations as it is. Initiative I have, but I still need to unlock it. It's just hard to do that when you're doing 5-cell mode runs all the time. As you know. And then Predator, so that you can get a little bit of invisibility if you're using a tactics melee run. He's also something that I should be experimenting around a little bit more than I have ended up doing so far. I still think it's a little bit questionable because at least last time I was using it, it was a very, very short amount of invisibility, but it's still something that I do think could be a really good boon to a run. Potentially. Good. Yeah, just like duck and turn around everywhere is kind of the strategy du jour, I guess. And you can't say it's not working so far. Let's go. 22, and it's only going to be more from here. If I can manage to get to the 60 kills, I'm going to also get a very nice... Good. Also going to get a very nice set of equipment coming up here. If I can actually use it, I probably will. Even if it's not one of my favorite types of turrets in the in-between area. If I can manage to get the 60 kills. It's a rare thing to get that when you're going into the cavern. Mostly because it's a rare thing for me to go into the cavern. That place is rough. Rough and tough. Nope, 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 nope. Even with the slight inaccuracy that you get on the bow, you're always accurate enough that there's no reason to not just hold down that attack button as much as you possibly can. Nope. 59, baby. One more. And I mean, really, I shouldn't be getting hit as it is, but doubly so now. Now, this is going to be what you would call a rough play. Definitely going to want to get my, yeah, there we go. The retaliatory grenade helping out a lot there in my favor. Thanks to the, thanks to the Wave of Denial. Spam this thing as much as possible. Spam this thing as much as possible is what people told me. It's what I should be doing. I just forget. Because, well, I don't know. I really don't have an excuse, to be honest. Explosive decoy, kinda want that, but also don't wanna focus too hard on non-damaging type of stuff. As useful as that little bit of extra invisibility could be, I don't think it's going to be that useful in the long run. Maybe. I don't know. At this point in time, I am thinking more about fighting the giant, and I'm just thinking about what is going to be the best way to take him down without having to use all of my potion charges. Of which, as soon as I find the food shop, should be back up to full right now. With 0 malaise. Not too bad at all. There's also a clean piece of food up there too, which is also great. Yeah, it's not looking too bad at all. Of course, as I've said before, the earlier parts of tactics and even the mid-game of tactics are the strong point. It's when you get late. It tends to get a lot rougher and tougher. Yeah. I mean, it would only be fitting right now if I got killed by a slasher, considering how much I insulted them earlier. But that's not going to happen. At least not if I can help it. Where is the food shop? I know it's around here somewhere. Because I want to make absolutely sure that I am full up on... There we go. That I am full up on potion charges. Oh, curse chest. Yeah. Tonic. If I didn't have a clean piece of food, I honestly would consider going for that. Trying to find the Architect's Key somewhere around here, because a high-level version of that is very likely to be... Yeah, okay. Is very likely to at least have, like, the restore 15% health on it in one way or another. Much like I was talking about earlier with healing. If you get a colorless tonic, that could be really good for getting a little bit of extra healing, even though it is going to take up a slot. But I think that... the disappointment in myself is immeasurable. And also the embarrassment that I'm feeling that even happened is just... Oh, in some ways it is just perfectly delicious. But also very frustrating for me. I am much like falling off of the roof in the 5-cell area. It is something that I don't know. I'm at a loss for words because of how frustrated I am. Anyway, good. I can afford that at least. Barely, just barely. But that's fine. That's fine. And this place will also probably give me a... Stop that. Good opportunity to get rid of my curse. God, I can only hope, because this should be the last curse that I'm encountering here. It's only appropriate for the run. For the run that I just did, but that's not tremendously useful right now. It's a sort of thing where I've had no problem killing enemies by the scores previous to this, but now that there's a real price for failure, I am likely to fail just because Well, the nerves, man. Just nervous. What is down there, anyway? A guy that's about to die. That's what's down there. Okay. All right, all right, all right. I don't know if I think there might still be a cursed chest down in the caverns. So that is something to remember. But other than that, that should at least get rid of the instant death opportunities that I got up until this point. That I know of. I don't know. Cavern, like I said, is something of a new thing. Still, even after all this time for me. Because it's just so rough to do. Alright. Say hi to the death statue. Gonna be getting that scythe soon enough with that DLC. Well, I don't know if it's specifically that scythe, but certainly one similar to it. And then, oh boy, you can just hear the worry in my voice here. This is not as impressive as I was hoping for. Okay, to be honest, Wave of Denial's still going to be pretty useful. It's, that's what we're looking at here. Because there's a lot of the projectiles that I'm still going to be able to reflect in the upcoming fight. In fact, reflecting that amount of projectiles back at the giant's hands could be amazing. I don't know. Where ice and fire coexist. Not really. I mean, I certainly see a lot of fire in the form of pink lava around here, but ice? I mean, I always thought of those being like crystal shards in the air, but I guess no, that's like it's snowy down here. However, again, that works, but you know. Okay. Demons should not actually be all that big of a deal right now. Because, yeah, the range that I got on this should be fine. And again, like I said, it might have taken me a while, but here in the upcoming fight, this shield will be getting a whole lot of use. People were right. I should be using them more. Yeah, getting stuck in the geometry there. Anyway. Yeah, this is shield time. Damn it. Why do the bad thing? Why did you hit me with the main one that comes out first? Well, hey, worst comes to worst, there's another food shop in here. Not something I want to rely on in any way if I possibly can, but hey, it's here. Enjoy your lava bath. I mean, to be fair, the giant does. Oh my god, that was so close. Alright, ground shaker, get down here. Do not like my chances against you, to be honest. Oh my god, this is... Enough. Gotta let all of my experience with arbiters from back from when they were literally everywhere on the entire map. You couldn't go one biome without encountering a ton of them to take them out right now. Yeah. Oh. Also, it looked kind of like it ran into the wall and died, but that's not... I'm kind of surprised that at point-blank range I was failing that hard at hitting that particular fellow. Good. Come on, this is... the cavern still remains quite a difficult area, even when you have the range that should allow you to take out enemies pretty trivially otherwise. Okay. Good. I mean, it's not terrible. Could be going better, though. Okay. And are there like 2 arbiters there? Yeah, there sure are. Weird. Well, it doesn't matter. They both died the same anyway. Feel like I'm seeing a lot more of these guys than I usually do. Of course, that's obviously confirmation bias, but what are you going to do? Oh, cavern, you remain tricky as ever. Come on, come on. I think the sooner that I can manage to get the Explorer's Rune prockin', the better I'm going to be. So just try to, well, explore as much as I possibly can. Oh, God. You know, I shouldn't be able to be attacking the shop, but that's always one of those things I don't really want to test anyway. Generates Toxic Cloud. To be honest, could probably use that. Get a little bit of extra. Well, could I use that in the upcoming fight? Yeah, maybe not. Oh, well. I'm not selected there? Whatever. Anyway. Didn't do as much damage as I was hoping. Oh, well. Did enough. Oh, my. Well, that was pretty fun. That was at least a good combo. Whatever, just take care of it, bird. Thank you. Okay. I mean, it could be going way worse, to be fair. Yep, and this should at least be something of a simple run past this point, too. I can easily skip the castle if I do manage to get an easy kill on the... Oh, very nice. If I do manage to get a good kill on the giant. So let's give some final reviews, since this is going to basically be the castle equivalent. I can only hope. Basically, it's been great. I haven't even had a problem with ammo as much as I thought I was going to. I think that is kind of a result of using the shield a whole lot and, well, the 2 times damage, or 2 times ammo. It was about as good of a combination as I could have possibly hoped for, and really, what more can I possibly want? I would honestly love to have this for the Hand of the King fight, but nah. I think I maybe could have, if I managed to get a little bit better turrets, had a better time there. But as it is, I want to say that, like, no, this is a perfectly fine combo. Wave Denial remains a very good spammable weapon that can take down a lot of dudes. And it works well with getting enemies away from you and into walls. Also just nullifying some of the more obnoxious parts of boss battles, just in general. Owl, of course, remains very good, especially against the Conjunctivius, because one of the few turrets that can actually hit her. Networking has been a surprise over the course of this run. And I do think that, especially with... It might not be super useful when it comes to a lot of your more basic enemies, but definitely when it came to the Conjunctivius, and when I'm thinking it's going to come to the next boss, seems to be just absolutely stellar. So yeah, all in all, not too bad. That said, still has the same issues that every single tactics run, blah, blah, blah. You've heard me harp on it a million times. But I do think that, yeah, I should be doing more tactics. Clearly, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be for the most part. Overreacting as usual. And I shouldn't fear doing more runs like this in the future. Now then. Yeah, can't attack me in shops. Something you always want to take advantage of. Okay. Having that piece of watermelon there is also filling me with quite a bit of confidence, knowing that I can take quite a beating and still manage to... 60 kills, nice. Okay, yeah, speaking of getting the 60 kills, it's like this is an even better location to get this in. Yeah, take quite a beating and still heal up everything, so yeah. It's not bad at all. Oh, that said, I mean, 5-cell mode still remains quite the challenge, even at this point in time. And I do feel like there is a very distinct possibility that I'm just going to come up against the hand of the king and just die. Just eat it immediately. Because that is the sort of thing that happens, especially with these runs. So don't be surprised if, yeah, exactly that happens, basically. Good, good. Now, I do believe there was an elite. Thank you. Excellent timing, if I do say so myself. Quite a bit of extra health from that. Not quite as many stats as I was possibly hoping for, but what are you going to do? I'll take what I can get. I nearly, regardless, I have nearly 30 in tactics. How much more do I really need? 529.7 is not a bad spread of equipment. And oh my god, that is the one to get if I possibly could. Too bad they don't take credit. Oh well. What's this thing here? Maybe a dual... I should be checking each one of these doors. This and the 5-cell area are the place to get equipment if you possibly can. Didn't work out in my favor this time, but still did not hurt to check. It's just too bad I'm nowhere near that 200,000. God, that would be an amazing bow to get. Explosion to Toxic Cloud and 100% on poison. I would say this run would be wrapped up aside from a couple bad misplays and, you know, just getting absolutely destroyed in 2 hits by one of the bosses if I managed to get that weapon. Oh well, as it is, yeah, there's still more stuff to be had. In fact, getting to 30 tactics right now is going to feel pretty sweet. So let's get that done. Parry that. And, oh, I was hoping that was one that... I thought I saw that thing had a tactics on it. It did not. Good, good, good. Well, whatever. I'm not going to argue with more health. It's not like I can't use that at all. Okay. Okay. And bird v. bird. I guess I'm actually the 3rd bird in this, if you think about it. I mean, the name is supposed to be ironic, of course, as you know. I am neither a medical doctor nor any sort of regular doctor. And I'm certainly not on fighter. At least until I start playing Noita later again. This is the night to be having the mage costume on. Do think I am going to do at least a small series on that. Just been playing that game way too much lately not to. There's 30. There's another elite. You gonna fly up here? You know what? How about this then? No, I hit the non-elite version of it. Why do these guys always have to come in twos? Get up here. Oh my god. This is absurd. The absurdity's on display here. Well, now it can't ignore me. Or maybe it totally can't. Come on, what is this nonsense? Yeah, whatever. I already got my 60 kills. It doesn't matter. Oh. Well, this is interesting. You know what? Sure. I mean, as much as I like the parry shield and everything, why not? I think that I can, like, this is 275%. It's a level 12. Come on, certainly I can get something working with this. Certainly. Okay, and you have a legendary item for something for me? Okay, even more so than the item that I just got. Force Shield could be good, if I'm being honest. Because, you know, you hold up, get that invincibility barrier. I don't know. Well, either way, I'm going to roll with it. See if I can't make some magic happen. That's an interesting get. Didn't really see a colorless shield come in here. I'm not going to turn it down, though. Because I do think that it's got some real potential. Like I said, hey, you know, much like with using Rampart, any sort of amount of invincibility you can get, even though this isn't quite as handy as just anytime you get a parry, getting a big invincibility barrier. There's also something I shouldn't forget about is there's also my bird to kind of help me out here. So I can do stuff like that. Either way, I knew that if that didn't work, I would have had a chunk of watermelon still hanging around. Either way, I bet. Okay, just a couple of the larger enemies around here. No cursed chests, as I was thinking. If I wanted to go just full-on bird mode, maybe, but there's no reason to do that. Last shot. Anything of interest? I don't hate the blood sword, but no, that's not of interest. Not in this run. Let's go. Now, I am going to take this just to get the melees down, even though if I play this right, I'll have all the melees taken care of because of Necromancy alone at the end of this fight. Well, otherwise, yeah, this is... Like I said, it's going well, but Dead Cells turns on a dime, baby. Can't rely on things to be going your way all the time. Ever. Ever in this game. Yeah, ooh. Ooh. Ooh, also. But I'm gonna try it. 12,000 hit points. Come on, big money. No bad play, E. 100% on poison. There we go. At least now when I do parry, I'll have something going on. And the other thing, like I was saying, oh yeah. What do I want to get rid of here then? Maybe the double ammo? Do I really need the double ammo? Wait, I picked disengagement. Damn it. Well, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to pick masochist, not disengagement. Oh, it's already going so poorly. Well, I guess I'm just going to get rid of necromancy for this then. I do think that that's the one that is probably going to be pulling the least weight. I got 4 potion charges. It should be fine. Let's see how this goes. Summon you up and let's go. Well, at least I was able to rally that up pretty well. Oh yeah, look at the... Ooh, look at that networking go. Oh, wait. The eye's out. I didn't even notice that for some reason. Yeah, okay, networking, absolutely super useful. Okay. Yeah, buddy. That's what I like to see. I was very close to getting a perfect fight there. Also, oh, what a pleasant surprise there at the end too. Okay. All right. I am, yeah. That was not difficult at all. He was, now of course that single hit that I did take did nearly kill me, but if we ignore that, I'm happy with how that went. The rally was certainly good, and that was mostly due to the fact that my health was so low. Why not? I don't see any reason not to go for a full 40 tactics at this point in time. All right, now Hand of the King is going to be a little bit different compared to the other bosses because he can block projectiles. He does have the ability to hold out his namesake hand and just bat him away. That said, well, I totally screwed that up. Yeah. Okay, you know what? I'm going to call that. I got a great giant fight, but that was tactics runs, I tell you.